What's good, family? How you doing? My name is Daryl Omar Shabazz. That is Daryl Omar Shabazz. For those of you who are woke conscious and give a fuck about man's name, I want to shine some light and clarify some things that many Black Americans are not aware of or seem to be drastically, fervently confused about, and that is their identity. I was raised knowing I was the Asiatic African man. My father made sure that I knew that. My father carried himself as such. So the idea of white supremacy, the idea that all these other people are walking into with this inferiority complex, I suffered it to some degree. You really can't, as a black man, avoid it in America. If you're half intelligent, you realize the duality, you realize the juxtaposition that the society places with black men and with white men. You realize and you notice how other groups and how other races treat you. Because most of these people are ignorant. Most people don't read history books, period. Most people just don't know where they're from. I had like a Hindu Gujarati boss. He was Gujarati, not Hindi. And I had an idol of the Kishmi, and he had no idea who it was. He had to look at the title and be like, "Oh, it's the Kish." I already knew that. I already knew it was the Kishmi. He didn't know his own gods. He didn't know his own his own people. So you have two competing beliefs right now. And the reason I bring up Hindus is that Hindus are extremely racist towards dark skinned people. It's within their caste system. This issue of colorization is global. You have two competing beliefs right now that are merging right at the same time. You have the awakening of black Americans to understand and know that they are the original Hebrew Israelites. And you have many black Americans who've always been claiming that they have Native American indigenous blood in their family. While I do not deny or doubt the fact that they do have indigenous blood or that they might be Cherokee, I do understand, I do know of the Maroon people. I do know of the Seminole Indians who took in many slaves down in Florida. I do know many slaves that ran away out west to join Native American tribes, and I am very, very, very aware that Mansa Musa, not himself, but he allowed his cousin or his uncle. It was his cousin or uncle. It was like that next level of relative to travel across the western Atlantic Ocean, and they were the original people who touched America way before Columbus, way before America Vespucci, way before any European had ever even sailed across the Atlantic Ocean before. So I'm aware and I know the deep rooted history of Africa's relationship with the entire world. Most black Americans don't know anything in that nature, which is a goddamn shame, quite honestly. Because it seems to me, ever since I was a kid, black Americans want to be anything but black. Black Americans seem to want to be anything but African. They seem to want to be anything but themselves. You see, so many young black men, even old black men, have abandoned any sense of African culture, Pan Africanism, or ever connecting back to the motherland in order to pursue the American dream or pursue Anglo Saxon culture. Or to just belittle themselves and allow white people to walk all over them. I'm not down for shit like that. Not whatsoever. I'm not that type of man. Um, you see another group, you see the Africans that come to this nation who know who they are as Africans, who know probably whatever African history they were taught, coming here to interact and speak with black Americans to find, like, whoa, what the fuck happened to you guys? Brother, how are you? What's going on? Get the fuck out of my face, you African booty scratcher. Do you not see another dark skinned man across from you? See, my issue is far less proceeding or connecting with the true identity of Africans. My issue is quite honestly with the Black Americans who want to be anything but African, be anything but Black, who do not recognize the brotherhood with other Black men or Black women for that matter. They do not recognize the issues that come within dealing with a world that is conquered by white supremacy, dominated by white supremacy. And there's no way to combat it as long as you're divided. There's no way to combat it as long as you're calling your own brothers your enemy. There's no way to really stand against this enemy whatsoever fucking ever. Because once you actually unify yourself, the goal isn't to fight these people. The goal isn't to fight white Americans. I have no interest in that. Not because they don't deserve it, not because we can't win. It's because it's just kind of a waste of our time at this point. The killings of black men, to really fight for every single life lost to police brutality, you're going to be fighting that battle for decades on end, trying to justify who is guilty and not guilty, when police were in the right, when police were not in the right. The only real like true solution is for black men to stand up, become police officers. So instead of complaining about these white guys coming to the ghettos, coming to your hood, you are living in your hood and you are a police officer and a cop. I grew up in the suburbs. I lived in East Orange in Newark for spurts of my life. I liked it. It's cool, whatever. But it was always referred to me, not so much by the people there, though it was known that I wasn't from that area by the way that I walked, the way that I talked, the way that I carried myself. But I was never disrespected. I was never harassed. I never had any issues with anybody in the block whatsoever. The Bloods loved me. The people in the block loved me. Drug dealers loved me. Even the Latinos in the corner store knew who I was and they loved me. Even the church folk loved me. I don't really carry myself to have issues with anybody unless you fucking come to my face and disrespect me. But I still hear endless fucking drama, endless fucking issues from black people about how dangerous, how awful the hood is and what's going on in the hood. Yeah, I get it. I understand. It's dangerous. When I was living in Newark, this is like a year and a half ago. This is not long ago at all. It might even just be last year. I'm not giving an accurate date, but it's like the last year or so. I got back from Ohio. I was living with my father, and whatever. Yeah, like some people were shot in the block, and that's kind of the law of the land. You sell drugs to the wrong person, you fuck with someone's livelihood, you get shot for that. White people are really no different. I guess the issue comes into play that a lot of these white drug dealers go on to have jobs and shit like that, but that's also because they're grandfathered in or they have the color to kind of hide themselves black and white. You have a lot of white fucking criminals. And they just hide themselves around good, honest white folk. You got a lot of right racists, and they just hide themselves around honest white folk. Not every white person is your enemy. Not every black person is your ally. The battle that we face has nothing to do with skin color. The battle we face is against flesh and blood. So, what I see people trying to escape from or trying to run away from is the idea of being African, the idea of being black, the idea of being in unity with other Pan African, other members of the African diaspora, other members of African descent, other Asiatic African peoples, even within themselves. You have issues with Indians and Pakistanis. For what reason? Makes no sense to me. You have issues with Indians and Arabs, the white name for it, but it's not accurate whatsoever because the entire area that we call the Middle East is Africa. But we call it the Middle East because, again, white supremacy. Because when you call it Africa and you realize that language, mathematics, and science, Manly P. Hall says we don't know who created language. You do know. It was the Phoenicians. What were the Phoenicians? They were Hebrew. They were Moorish, and many of them were Muslim. Those are the people that created uh, phonics, the alphabet, language, mathematics, and science. And you know exactly who taught you all this stuff. It came from Kemet. It came from the mystery schools. What were they teaching? African science, African dichotomy, African ideology. What do the Masons teach? Mayan text, Mayan ideology. So, what I really want to get to the core of that is whether or not you call yourself Native American, whether you call yourself Hebrew, whether you call yourself Moorish, Muslim, you're still African. You're still black because everything on this planet is African and black. So if you are a white man living in denial of being African, that's an issue. But if you are a dark skinned man and you're affronted by the idea of being African, of being black, of being united with someone like me or someone else that looks like me, you're a fool. You're a coon. Making excuses for the destruction and the place that black people are in. Well, if you guys would just get a job, yeah, because those things grow on fucking trees, right? Because you don't have to go through a whole hiring process. You don't have to go through the whole process of fitting the person's culture. They do not want to see black men rise up. Do you, what world are you living in? You know, the only black men that succeed are coons or faggots. Homosexuals. I'm sorry, I can't say faggots anymore. That's not any shot or any gear towards homosexual people, homosexuality community. That's just kind of what it is. I don't mean gay people. I think that's another thing too. I don't mean gay. I don't mean homosexual. I don't mean someone who's dealing with that. I mean a faggot. You can be straight and be a faggot. I mean people who are flamboyantly like bend over me and that shit, kind of shit. Walk all over me, disrespect me. That type of people. Acting like a female, acting like a woman, that kind of stuff. Those are the only black men that succeed in this country. Any other type, like, they don't want to see you make it. Other black people don't want to see you make it. So, what I have here in front of me are the notes that I've taken, um, just basically going over who the Israelites are. And this is global. So, as we're aware, there's the 12 tribes of Israel, the tribe of Benjamin and Judah. I'm going to do this in cohesion. The tribe of Judah specifically are the Jamaicans and the Haitians. The tribe of Benjamin are the African Americans that are living within America. You the tribe of Ephraim, the Ephraim. I'm sorry, I have a friend named Ephraim, and I'm still saying the name. Tribe of Ephraim. Puerto Rico, Cuba. The tribe of God, that is going to be the Native Americans, the true indigenous natives to America, not the indigenous people of Central America or Southern America, South America. We're going to get into that right the fuck now. The tribe of Asher are the South Americans, the Central Americans, and the Panamans, my people as well. I have Panama in my family. I have Barbados in my family, tribe of Judah, tribe of Benjamin. Tribe of Issachar are the Mexicans, the Seminoles. Oh, I'm sorry. Tribe of Issachar are the Mexicans. And if you know anything about Chicanos and Mexicans, the Mexicans are also the indigenous natives of America. They're the indigenous natives of Western North America. This entire area of California, Colorado, this entire area was Mexico. And the Reubenites, tribe of Reuben, are the Seminole Indians, as I referred to earlier. So you have nowhere to run. You can't hide from truth. So you can call yourself whatever the hell you need to. You can say that you're West Indian, you're still Hebrew Israelite. You can say that you're Native American, you're still Hebrew Israelite. You can say that you're Mexican, you're still Hebrew Israelite. You can say that you're black and you're from America, you're still Hebrew Israelite. Your lack of knowledge and lack of awareness of who you are has nothing to do with anything whatsoever. Trust me, I've been through it before. I've had many people know exactly who my spiritual identity was, and the fact that I did not know my spiritual identity did not make those people light up or ease up on me whatsoever. I still went that spiritual warfare. I still affected that spiritual trial, but I won because of who I was spiritually. You know, you as a black American really need to stop making excuses for what it is that's happening to you. The best thing that you can be with yourself as a human being is honest. Every single time. The best thing that you can be to yourself as a human being is 100, 1000% honest. And the God honest truth is that black people simply are not trying to unify or educate themselves. This is part of what happens when you're facing massive depression as you do in the black community. Because the issue in the black community isn't that people are lazy, the issue is that people are depressed. The issue is not that people are violent, the issue is that people are manic. It's kind of like some bipolar shit. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of schizophrenic shit. When you put this much pressure on the people to continue rising up, to continue proving the fact that they are the Hebrew Israelites, to continue, it's basically on the back of black people to prove that there is a God, because that's like the misnomer, the misconception of the black woman and black men being God or being goddesses. You are the children thereof, but if you know enough about spirituality, you have your own divine kundalini, you have your own divine chakra, you have your own divine energy. Divinity is not God necessarily. There are a lot of divine creatures. Angels are divine creatures. If you want to liken yourself to anything, liken yourself to angels, liken yourself to an archangel, liken yourself to like maybe Archon if that's what you're into. But it's like this. The reason why the tribe of Judah fell, the reason why Israelites, the black Israelites, failed, is that they began rejecting their culture. They began rejecting their identity. They began rejecting God, and they accepted all these pagans. They accepted all these false idols because that pressure was upon them to continue proving the existence of God. And this is because the majority of the world had no idea who God was. They had no idea what the Adonai, what Guy, or what Yeshua was. Most people living life with blinders like this. People talk about, I made an Instagram little video about this today. People talk about like how many people have died in the name of religion. How many people have died for satanic sacrifices? Just because you don't want to talk about the other side. How many people have died from satanic slavery? How many people have died from satanic orgies? How many people have died from just being a Satanist in that lifestyle in general? How many people have died from addiction? There are many, many, many things in this world that people die from. You can die from drinking too much water. And people want to act as though the full fault and the full reason falls upon the shoulders of black Americans. Why are we blaming the black man for the mass enslavement of the human race? Isn't it white people's fault? Because I don't see black people in history have ever done that. The Babylonians have attempted it, but they didn't conquer the entire human race. They conquered their area. The Sumerians didn't conquer the whole human race. They conquered their area. The Akkadians didn't conquer the human race. They conquered their area. And it's arguably so to say that at the time of the Akkadian Empire, at the time of the Babylonian Empire, that's really all of civilization that existed. Even then, if you read about Babylonian culture, it was not the same form of slavery that we had in America. It was not the same form of slavery that the Khazars or what's the proper name for it? The Huskas have enforced upon the world. The Huskins are fucked up people. Khazars are fucked up people. These false Arabs that call themselves that, but most Palestinians are dark skinned people. Most people that are actually native to that land are dark skinned people. And if you check the lineage of the people that call themselves the masters, they have like they have albinism. Why did eugenics fail as a science? Eugenics failed as a science because once they kept studying the reality and the truth of genetics, they wanted to study our skull structure. The black man's skull is bigger than the white man's skull, which means that black men have bigger brains. Black men are well known to be far more well endowed and virile than white men. Black people age far more gracefully than white people do. To ease this up in a sense that whites have any sense of genetic, natural, spiritual superiority of anybody is falsified. It doesn't make any sense to me. The only reason why white people are in a position of power is the same reason why the bully in the playground holds a position of power that they do. Everyone's afraid to stand up to them. People don't have the proper reasoning, the proper knowledge, the proper ability to combat white people at their game. You got 1,000 insults for black people, 1,000 insults for Hindus, 1,000 insults for Irish people, 1,000 insults for Italians, but no one has taken the time to stop their hurt feelings, to stop crying, to have some insults for white people, to have some insults for the Anglo-Saxons, to have some insults to people that think that it's perfectly well and good to murder and enslave most of the known world, call yourself gods, and then continue that enslavement without any sense of mercy, any sense of remorse, any sense of wrongdoing. That's fucked up. And the psychological abuse that so many blacks have gone through, I feel bad for people in the ghetto, but I feel a lot worse for people living like within white society as black people. I feel far worse for someone living around white people as a black man who doesn't know where he's from or doesn't know the truth of his heritage. I carry myself around white people, and white people know what I stand for. Um, they're not really offended by me or anything. They're intimidated. Sometimes they're jealous. Sometimes they're hateful. But no one has ever attempted anything in my life. No one's ever disrespected me for it. If they do, it's behind my back like fucking cowards, but it's never to my fucking face. Most people hate behind your back, and then their face they try to smile and be nice to you and be friendly. I just smile, let them do their thing. That's the type of life. The respect is really what we're looking for. A man can't live off of love. So if you feel as though because white people are nice to you, you feel as though because white women want to suck your dick or fuck you, that means that they're not racist. You have a real confusion as to what it is your people need and to what men are seeking. Black men don't need jobs. Black men do not need employment from the white power structure. Black men do not need to be a part of the system that is enforcing white supremacy. Black men need to be educated properly by black women. And I'm going to repeat that again. Black men must be educated properly by black women. Black women must be educated properly from black men. That's the exchange of power, is knowledge and wisdom. Men offer knowledge, women offer wisdom. The feminine energy in itself offers wisdom, intuition. We need to grow our own food. We need to understand our own religions and our own precepts to that. You may not be 100,000% faithful, but just as the majority of Muslims, or Christians, or anything else in this world, you call yourself what you truly are. Whether or not you follow is a different thing entirely, but you need to know the history and the heritage of your people. Our people suffer from a lack of knowledge, and the lack of knowledge that we suffer from isn't purely just mathematics and sciences and engineering and legalities. We lack knowledge itself more than anything else. We not lack knowledge of knowing who we are and where we're from. And many of us fall into it's a very human trap. It's not because again, like this color shit, this cultural shit, it really doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't. It's not what we're. You're dumb if you letting that stop you. It has nothing to do with anything. What stops us is legalities. What stops us is principalities. What stops us from evil and dark forces and from vice and from sin. The willingness to commit those things upon our brother and upon others. The truth of life is that once you understand who you are, where you're from, it's like having a relationship with your father. Once you see who your dad is, you see what he's done in life, as a man, it gives you a whole new fucking pathway as to what you're working from. Either to make yourself a better man, better than your father, or to emulate your father and improve upon his design. I have the benefit of improving upon my father's design. He's a very respectful man. He's a very great man. And he's always been around in my life. Um, our personal relationship is a different story entirely, and that's not really anyone's business. But as far as me and him are concerned and being on the same page, he's a Capricorn, I'm a Virgo. Me and my father were born to be in alliance. I know the same is the same with all of you men. You know, find him, talk to him. Pick up a book and understand who you are. Read the Old Testament of the Bible. Even if you're not religious, read it as a historic book because it is. It's a very old fucking book. So the least you can do is just read it, see what people were thinking back then, and then you work from that point. You work from that standpoint. What we're fighting right now is a very internal battle. And basically, your enemy just kind of preys upon that. It's like any abuser, it's like any person dealing in that situation. When you do not know who you are, your enemies can take advantage of you. But when you have full knowledge and full awareness of what it is, who you are, what you stand for, what you're trying to do in this world, no one can really stop you. They can deter you, they can slow you down, they can kind of knock you off your path, they can give you false hope, but they can't stop you. And if you have conviction within that, or just basic like this is like, dude, it's the truth. Like, conviction is a bit more like voracious and vicarious and verbose, like, ooh, in your face. I'm an Israelite. And then there's a whole, like, well, no, historically, I'm like African Israelite. Like, I don't. No, you're not. You're just a black American. You're just a nigger. Nah, I'm not. The world is a lot older than America, which most Americans don't fucking understand or know. That's another thing you're dealing with. The real fucking problem with all this shit is that most white people are fucking ignorant. That's the real issue with all this stuff. Is that most of you walk around as if white people are better than you. You walk around as if, as a white man, you're better than somebody, but they don't know shit. They don't know anything about any other group of people. Most white people living today in like 2018 America, they think America is all there is and always ever have been. They think America is the greatest nation on the planet. They have no idea that the American currency is completely failing upon it. They don't know the American education system is one of the worst, like, not the higher education system of America, because that's when you have international people since forever. You have international people coming here. I'm talking about the American baseline public education school system. It's god awful. That's why you have all these standardization because you're trying to fit like everyone in this population into a mold of basic human competency, and they haven't been able to do it yet. The reality of like what's happening in this country because people just won't be honest. It's kind of like you have that friend who's a stone cold alcoholic, and they won't face the fact that they're an alcoholic. Their grandfather's an alcoholic, their great great grandfather's an alcoholic because that's how it skips a generation, and their father's an alcoholic. So it's supposed to skip a generation, but it did not. And their father's an alcoholic too, and now they're an alcoholic. And the same excuse that they've been using is, oh, I don't have a problem. The only problem I have is when there's no more beer left. LOL, LOL, LOL. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. No, like white people, you have like a very big issue. Like you're going to hell. You can pretend God doesn't exist all you want. God knows he's real. You lying to yourself and not saying he's real doesn't mean anything. Most of you guys worship Satan anyway. You worship Satan. You worship evil. You worship dark shit. You fuck with dark shit. So if you fuck with the dark shit, you fuck with the evil. Because I've been there before. I feel you. It's there. But if you fuck with the evil, you know the good exists. You know the light exists. You know the Adonai is real. So you can use all the backwards trickery, all the fucked up habits you want. You can kill all the black leaders and all the white leaders that you want who try to stand out and tell the truth. It's not going to mean anything. Like the purposelessness of this all. You know the futility of the battle that you're facing as a white American. You know you're not dominant. You know how insecure you are. You know how fucking weak you are. And you know that you're fearful of genetic inferiority and genetic annihilation. You mask it around as if other people do not know and do not realize is not going to save you. You creating like a mixed race of biracial people isn't going to save you. You know, you repenting at this point in time. Your children can be saved. Their children can be saved. You white people watching this video, you can definitely be saved. If you got to this point, if you're white, you got this far in the video, oh dude, you're perfect. You're fine. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not going anywhere. You're one of the good ones. But I would probably say you're European too. Aren't you European? You're European? You're Eastern European, aren't you? You're Southern European. Oh, you're Irish? Oh, you're still a brother. I still love you. You got deep history with me, man. In Europe and in America. You got deep history with me. And most people aren't aware of that. So the lack of knowledge that my people suffer from, I don't even just mean black people. I mean my country. I love America. I've lived here my entire life. I've never lived in any other country before. I see the great potential that America has to be successful. I see the great potential that America has to move on to the next level. I see the great potential that America has to be the beacon of light within this world. We have every group of people here on the planet for a reason because America is supposed to be the precipice of world peace. But as we've seen numerous times, it gets a lot worse before it gets better. And the only reason it's going to get worse is because of these white people who are afraid of genetic annihilation. They're afraid of white people losing their power. They're afraid of the world recognizing truth. They're afraid of all their work and all their investment to corrupt and manipulate mankind being undone. And it's really pathetic. It's really sad. They spent all this money, all this time, all this work and energy, and I'm not even going into details about it. You know it's true. You see politics. They spent all this money and all these resources trying to fuck with humanity, trying to artificially select the genetic superior brand. And it's like every time they attempt it, the Chinese come up. They make the currency fiat currency system, and now Asian Americans are coming out on top. The fuck? The white people like play basketball, the all white basketball league, all white football league, all white baseball league, and now Dominicans, the tribe of Asher, the tribe of God, the tribe of Reuben, tribe of Ephraim. These are the ones who are the best fucking baseball players. The tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin. These are the best fucking basketball players. No matter where you go, we beat you. The falsehood that we face and the real issue of this, and I'm gonna end on this note coming up right here, is that white people are about 70%, maybe 60% of the American population. And if you've never lived in any other country but America, you're going to feel as though white people outnumber you. You're going to feel as if white people are superior to you. You're going to feel as if white people are better than you. You're going to feel as if white people have control over you. The truth is that white people are only 10% of the human population. So what you see is that most people are just kind of huddled up in America and Europe, terrified. You get it now? That's why movies like The Purge, that's why all this hell bent on warfare stuff, they're terrified. What are they terrified of? They're scared of judgment. They're scared of wrath. And it's not just Black Americans waking up and because the fact remains that if Black Americans regain their knowledge of self, they regain their truth, and they go up in arms and they pull French Revolution on the white Americans then play the victim role of saying like, look, we were right about you the entire time, we were right about you the entire time, and then the world turns against Africa, the world turns against Black Americans, and then we're right back at square one with truth. That's how the enemy works. But the step beyond that is that black people do exactly what they have been doing with the Nation of Islam, with the Moorish community. You invest your time within building your community, building up your people, building up your family, building up yourself, and then you don't really have to worry about white people. That's what white people are really afraid of. The alt right movement comes around saying that white people are where they are because of the superiority of intelligence of white man. Every other group of people have invented everything on this planet before white people existed. I'm not going to say that white people don't have invention and they haven't done anything. Like that's just falsehood. But a lot of what white people have created has been self-masturbatorily grandized by white people. To be honest, a lot of what white people have brought in this world were for the benefit of only white people. Most of the knowledge that white people brought in this world is knowledge from other groups of people that white people have reinterpreted and redesigned, reiterated for white people. And then they call it invention. Then they call it discovery. You're dealing with a really sick, really like psychotic, really deranged enemy, you know. And the sooner you accept that as a black American, not all white people, again, not all white people, it's just that those who are enforcing this system and truly believe in it, you're dealing with some really sick, fucked up people, and it's best that you just keep your distance from them. It's best you just leave them alone. Because people like that don't truly want friends. They want pets. They don't want freedom. They want control. They want to be controlled. And if they can't have freedom, no one can have freedom. If they can't be genetically superior, you see what they do, what the Republicans do when they don't get their way in government. They shut the whole motherfucker down. They fuck up things for every motherfucking body. That's what sore losers fucking do. So my advice to you as a black American is just simply accept who you are. You're African. You're Israelite. Break the curse of Ham. You know, bring up Canaan. Bring up America. North America is our territory. White people have no business being here. It's our land. It's our territory. When Africans came to America, there was no beef. There was no issue. You know, when Africans came to South America, there was no beef. There was no issue. When white people have gone anywhere on the goddamn planet, it ends in bloodshed. Why? Why? For what reason? What reason? There is none. There's no justification for like the barbacity and the horrific nature and how psychotic and deranged like white people are. There's no reasoning or rationale for horror movies, for the obsession with dystopian society, with their obsession with the destruction of humanity, with their racist jokes, with they're still lynching people, you know? They still think lynching people's funny. They're still trying to intimidate black people. There's no justification for it. It's really psychotic, it's really deranged behavior. And we're really trying to make it seem as if there's something wrong with black people for living in this system of white superiority. We're trying to make it seem like there's something wrong with black people, or black men specifically, for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 job, to be paid $8 an hour, to be a good little slave, when their ancestors fought very hard to not do that. We're trying to make the issue seem like there's something wrong with the people who are being oppressed by the system, who are being abused by the system, or being labeled as, and we've already made the correlation within sociology that the media, and even just the facts of like the Hollywood industry to begin with, black people have no control over Hollywood whatsoever. All the images and stereotypes that you see of black people were manufactured, and because there were no other role models to go to, and because black people have constantly been trying to rebuild themselves, they couldn't kill us physically. They couldn't stop us with slavery. So now they have a psychological mental warfare upon you that they don't teach you and they don't educate you properly. And the psychological warfare that you want to be white so fucking bad that you reject yourself, you reject your own kind, and you spend every ounce and all the time and energy in your fucking life, all your money, trying to be fucking white, trying to appease white people, trying to get white people to love you. That's why black people haven't gotten anywhere. Black people haven't gotten anywhere because those of us with the most money, the most influence, the most notoriety are trying to be white. And those of us who are trying to stick true to their cause, they don't want the white man's ways. They don't want money in itself. They just want to live. And once you provide black people with a means to live for themselves, you're going to see a lot more people coming to the hood, coming to the ghettos. Once they realize that this gun violence is manufactured, because black people aren't building guns. Black people are buying guns, and more than likely, black people are being given the fucking guns, just like they were given the drugs. Once you start putting this shit together and you start realizing exactly what the fuck is going on, you're faced with the abundant reality. Black people are inevitably going to surpass you. First, I'm going to make a prediction. First, it's going to be the Asians. Then, because Asians are very intelligent and they do their research, because they're very diplomatic and very reasonable, they're going to start to recognize all these black people with affinity for their culture, They're going to return to their history books. They're going to be forced to interact with black people on because they haven't done it yet. Asia, ever since like I know I said I was going to finish, but I'm just going to go in right now. Ever since you have the first construction of Asia, and I mean China and Japan, it's historically recorded that the first people in those nations were dark skinned people. I'm not going to necessarily call them Negroid or African, but they were dark skinned people. And there's still many dark skinned people living within that area. If you ever seen a Cambodian, if you ever seen a Malaysian, if you ever seen like oceanic people, the area of right here, if you have Asia, you have, I guess you call Eastern Africa, the Middle East and Eastern Africa. Middle East of what? Middle East of fucking Africa. Because there's nothing south of it. There's just water. Middle East of Africa, you know. Then you have Oceania. Those people are dark skinned. Polynesians are dark skinned. You know, the original Samoans were dark skinned people. They didn't have the same type of hair of us because they come from entirely different environment, and culture, and whatever the fuck pigmentation and genetic code goes into hair. There are many people that did though. Asians are going to recognize and they're going to be the ones to identify because there are many Asians reading the Bible right now. And they're reading a falsified Bible. Once they take the same path of spiritual growth, of understanding, because they're already doing it. You know, if you know anything about Asian culture, like anything about true Asians living there, they've already accepted hip hop. If you go there as a black person, they're not going to murder you. They're not. You're more likely to get murdered walking through a white suburb than you would be walking through Asia. They're just gonna. They've never seen black people before in like the modern age. So once you're able to learn Mandarin, once you're able to learn some Japanese and you're able to go over there and communicate with them and talk to them, do business with them, sit with them, cipher with them, like, dude, it's inevitable. And it's like you're just all you have is like basically this is how the enemy works is that they keep trying to postpone, 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 they keep trying to postpone while they do all this fucked up shit in the meantime. Why they try to ensure their artificial victory over you. Or they make it so in a way that once you gain your bearings, you gain your understanding, you're so rife with everything that's going to destroy you that you have nothing left, honestly. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn everything against Africans. They're trying to turn everyone against each other, first and foremost, to begin with. White people are currently playing themselves as the intermediary between everybody because you can't get through anything without dealing with white people. So the system that they set up in place is that they have themselves as the smiling face of peace and diplomacy. When if you know anything about white people, everywhere they have gone, they've caused disruption even to their own people. The reason why the Europeans even came to America and became the Americans was because of persecution, not from Africans, but persecution from white people. When Africans ruled Europe, you didn't have the Dark Ages. You had the Renaissance. You had a lot of amazing, great things happen when black people ruled. King James was not a white man. King James was black. He also wasn't homosexual. And if he was, like, there's a lot of people with power do some really crazy shit. Look them up. Look up the Illuminati bloodlines and shit like that and see what they're doing, see what they're up to. You guys have the whole script fucked up. You feel as if black people is the losing team. Everyone loves the underdog, baby. Everybody loves a motherfucking underdog. Look at us, man. Look at us rising from the ashes century after century as a phoenix. Look at these black people. Like, these aren't rich black people. Rich black people already cut their eyes off for it. They already have the poison. They already have money. Money is the poison. That much rich, that much wealth, that's the poison. That shit corrupts you. That shit melts your fucking brain. That shit makes you easy to control. Because then all you worry about is keeping your money, maintaining your money, and making more fucking money. You're useless to your people if you're rich. You think that's where the power is. No, money's an equation. It's poor black people who are gaining truth and knowledge and understanding. This supposed to be the weak links exposing the devil's schemes. So once you see these black men that you call coon, you call Negro, you call Negropean, once they discover truth, oh my God. Once these white allies, these white liberals, these white Democrats, once they discover truth, oh my God. The Rothschilds aren't even Ashkenazi Jews. The Ashkenazi, the white skinned Jews that you see, most of them are pretty well to do people. Most of them are honestly, they're not exposing the secret because you can't force someone to awaken again. They don't want to lose their sense of power. I don't respect it. I don't like it. But I do understand. Once you're able to discuss and talk to them, maybe not at their level at first because we're a little far behind in the race, they can't wait to help. They can't wait to convert you to Judaism, boy. They can't wait to see your bat mitzvah. They really can't. It's kind of scary. It's kind of weird once you think about it. Like truly, honestly, think about it. They can't wait to see black bat mitzvahs. But the issue is that people across the world think that the cause of Africa and the cause of black people are so hopeless. It's so menial and so futile that they've all just kind of lived past us already. The reason why we don't do much about slavery, we don't do much about the discrimination issues of black people, is that most people have already given up on black men. You've given up on black women. You've given up on the entire cause of the civil rights and fighting justice for Africa. Because again, we're looking at this from a European scope. The idea of black people ever having like the financial gain of like Bill Gates. Bill Gates like does not have his own wealth. Bill Gates got that rich by selling like $25, $50 worth of material, $100, $1,000 worth of material to billions of people. Once black people can do that, then yeah, absolutely. But we do not need to. Our ways are not like theirs. Once you see the African victory on this planet and how we're going to win, man, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to understand how simple and easy it was the entire time. You're gonna understand that at any point in time, it's like recovering from alcohol, recovering, moderating your weed usage. Notice I didn't say quit. I said moderate your weed usage. Don't be a stoner. Don't do that shit all fucking day. It's a waste of fucking time and energy. Once you learn how to gain some sense of self-control of your emotionality, once you learn how to be sober-minded, not sober. Sober means not being alcohol. It means being serious. It means being no jokes, no games. Once this life shit stops being a game to you, once you as a black man stop trying to make white people laugh, stop trying to make other black people laugh, once you really start getting serious and start getting pragmatic and calculating about this shit, you're gonna realize exactly what I'm talking about, how easy victory is. Because you're gonna realize money is a means. Money is not an end. Money is a means. Money doesn't get you to where you're going all the time. Money traps you. The difference between the Asian, the African, the Chicano is that we understand the end. We know how to obtain the end. We were all born into cultures with people that we had to reach the end without the means of money. Ever. Until like the 1400s. Ever without the means of money. Once you understand who you are and you return to your roots, my Louis Farrakhan face, baby, it's finna be a breeze. Woo! You got no idea how beautiful and how amazing your people are. You got no idea how astounding it is to be African in this world right now. The whole world is looking at you, black man, waiting for you to be an animal. All you have to do is not fit their mentality. It's gonna be a breeze. It's easy. And we make it hard because we have that white person mentality of overcomplicating and trying to do all this shit to seem smart, to make yourself feel better. You got to go to point C, point B, point D, point W to come back around to C, to do this shit all over again because you're not satisfied within yourself. For what? White appeasement? It's been like 50 years white people still ain't happy with you. Emancipation Proclamation got signed in 1865, unless that was the Civil War. Either or, they still ain't happy. White people aren't happy because white people aren't satisfied with their goddamn selves. Black people aren't happy because white people are corrupt and very fucking evil. You know what? That's the same reason why most white Americans are not happy. You got a lot more allies than you think you do, boy. You gotta stop looking at white people as your enemy, and you gotta start seeing them. This isn't Stockholm Syndrome whatsoever, man. This is the fucking truth. White people, Europeans, are the only people on this planet with a heritage of slavery. And they accept it. They call it serfdom. They call it feudalism. And we pretend like that's okay. White people pretend like that's all they've ever fucking known. That's all they've ever known. So again, once you understand, black man, once you understand exactly why this shit is happening, once you understand exactly why it is that they hate you, it is out of jealousy, it is out of spite, it is out of internal dissatisfaction and self hatred. It has nothing to do with you, black man. White people hate themselves. The Revolutionary War was fought white man against white man for the freedom of those who wanted to get the fuck out of Europe. The Civil War was fought from white man to white man with white people that wanted to get the fuck out of fascism and imperial fucking rule. You ask a white person if he likes Nazism, they're gonna tell you fuck no. Well, European American person, you can tell who the enemy is. White people know who the enemy is, but you, a black man, you, black woman, you really need to stop looking at your own people who are just as hurt, just as toxic, just as destroyed as you are. You're looking, black women are looking at black men like, why aren't you protecting me? Protect you from fucking what? Like, my emotions? Protect you from your mouth? Protect you from, like, oppression in white man's America? Like, the fuck you want me to do, bitch? Black men looking at black women like, why aren't you loving me properly? You loving you properly? I don't even love myself, man. Like, do you not see my hair in my eyes? Do you not see how hard I work to pretend to be white in the streets, to come home and completely fucking self-destruct because I don't know who I am, black man? Once you start realizing exactly what the fuck is happening to your people and why this shit's going on, once you get the psychological bullshit that's happening with you, you would truly understand why it is everything that's happening to black Americans, everything that's happening to you. You're really going to get it. You're really going to understand it. But until that day comes, I don't know what to tell you. For those living in it, for those who know, for those who are aware, God bless you. God bless you. I mean Adonai, Gaia, Yeshua Mashiach. God bless you. I love you. Hit me up. European Americans that know and you're with the real, God bless you. Adonai, Gaia, Yeshua bless you. Adonai, bless Africa. Yeshua, bless Africa. Gaia, take care of your children. I'm not your enemy, man. I'm brother of all, enemy is none, but if you cross me, you disrespect me, I will bring the wrath of God upon you. There's no reason why this place, this war, has to end in bloodshed. There's no reason why any of this has to end in bloodshed or violence. There's no reason why we can't scream it out. We can't make it through the music. We can't make it through movies. There's no reason why we can't do this as the new age has shown us. Not the new age as in like the new age of what these fucking confused ass motherfuckers are doing. I mean new age as in 2008. I mean 2000, oh, 4 to 2008, 40 2018. 1,042,018, whatever fucking year it is. We have so much to gain rather than lose. The only reason why we have so much anger and fear of knowing the truth is what happens after you open that door. And after you open the door of truth, it is terrifying. And the terrifying part comes, the horror comes with being around other people who do not know truth. That is scary. Walking with truth in a world of those who are confused, those who are lost, those who are narcissistic. That is scary. Be the light in the darkness. Carry the burdens of those around you because they are too heavy for them to carry. Remove the negative people from your life. Remove the dark forces from your life. Be at peace with yourself. Be at peace with the world around you. That was far longer than any video I've ever made before. I enjoyed it. I'm probably going to make more videos like this in the future. God bless you guys. I thank you so much for your viewership, for your fanship, for taking this time out. Thank you for your intrigue. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Adonai bless you. Gaia bless you. Yeshua bless you. Amen. And God bless Africa.